This is a video response to Wayne Watley's video on the Breakfast Club channel. I love that channel, and thoughtful videos from Wayne personally often make me think, or even rethink something. Sadly, this video is not one of those. Parts of the original video are edited for time, pace and consistency here, but please, for better context, watch Wayne's video in its entirety and let me and others know if I've taken something out of context. I'm trying to answer not exclusively to Wayne's arguments, but also to related arguments repeatedly heard in this discussion.
Fat acceptance is bullshit.
I strongly disagree. Let's find out at what point of reasoning we part our ways. First off, let's recall what fat acceptance is. In its purest and most reasonable, it is the idea that those whose weight is higher than the current social norm deserve to be respected and treated as well as everyone else. The idea that society doesn't have rights to make their life harder or to discriminate against them.
Now, I know that not everyone is fat because they're lazy or they eat too much. There are people with thyroid problems and other issues, but most people who are fat because they eat more than they move.
Even if they are lazy or eat too much, so what? That's their choice. We are not talking about encouraging it. We are talking about respecting their choices and accepting their lifestyle. And you are completely overlooking cases when people have some bigger problems than their weight. Problems or tasks that demand all of their attention and don't leave any time, energy or other resources for working on their shape. Imagine how they feel. They are already struggling, and on top of it, we tell them that they are not okay with us because they are fat. Nope, screw bigger problems. You are fat and don't deserve to relax or to feel a little better at the end of a day until you fix it. Don't you think, at least for these cases, fat acceptance is a decent idea?
Let me let you in on a little secret. If it wasn't obvious enough, I am a fat person.
A couple of years ago, my weight was at least 125 kilograms. That's 275 pounds. I say at least because that was the maximum value that my old weigh scale could show. 8 years ago, after suddenly gaining weight due to changes in my life with the birth of my child, I had gynecomastia that had to be treated surgically. Now I'm 205 pounds, which is still suboptimal even for my height, but it's a little better. You and I can talk about our experience as fat people, but I hope we both understand that they don't give any additional weight, pun intended, to our arguments. Arguments have to stand on their own.
And I'm tired of people saying that we need to accept this. Any reason why we would need to embrace these types of things is beyond me.
How about it being a choice that directly affects only the person making it? How about just respecting people's choices and priorities?
I am someone who knows what it's like being in the skin of an overweight person, of a morbidly obese person, who when I go to the chiropractor, I'm told that I have to lose weight before I can get my back worked on or else I could die.
Chiropractic is a form of alternative medicine, i.e. not medicine, i.e. potentially harmful practice. Let's put this aside for now, but this is not a good context for all the following medical advice.
Or whenever I go to the doctor and he tells me that I have type 2 diabetes and I'm going to be on pills forever. I know what it's like being that person who when I get up in the morning and try and get out of the bed that my knees hurt from the weight. It's not a coincidence that as obesity is on the rise, so is heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, pregnancy problem. These are all things brought upon by obesity.
This is a very important information. While respecting people's choices, we as a society must try to make sure that all of these choices are informed. It needs to be commonly known that everyone who chooses to have a sedentary life and eat a lot is prone to all kinds of nasty disorders and diseases. But after that, society's part in their decision is over. After that, only acceptance of their informed choice.
I've heard feminists say things like we are brainwashed into perceiving what is attractive and what is beauty, but I would like to counter-argue that, saying that attraction is biological.
That's not a counter-argument, that's a counter-statement. Sorry to say this, but citation needed. If your reasoning is of the kind of that's just obvious, then I encourage you to watch my video on intuitive views.
Ask any straight man what they like. Most of them will say that they like a fit woman unless they have some sort of kinky fetish.
By us being brainwashed into perceptions of beauty, feminists mean exactly that. One thing, according to our intuitive perception, is attractive and thus normal. The other thing, according to our intuitive perception, is unattractive and thus abnormal. If someone finds a seemingly unattractive thing attractive, they in turn are not normal and their preference is a kinky fetish. And then you just leave it to society, to frown upon and to laugh about. Even though objectively, a harmless kinky fetish is not something to be ashamed of. So we have the classic situation of the rich getting richer. Those with normal preferences, due to the cultural norms of a people in a time period, live happily. Those with normal bodies live happily. Those with abnormal bodies start to become more normal, to find a partner with normal preferences, thus putting a lot of work into chasing a simulacrum, oftentimes paying with their health and depriving from happiness both themselves and those with abnormal preferences. Maybe it's time to understand that for every taste there is a body type, and for every body type there are people that consider it the most beautiful thing in the world. Maybe it's time to stop being grounded in our intuitive perception of majority's preferences and putting them on a pedestal of being the norm.
But let's look at a couple of examples of biological attraction. Women find men attractive who are fit because they have more testosterone.
What? What does that mean? It's a leap of logic on top of a leap of logic on top of a leap of logic. Let's try to roughly formalize your reasoning. Premise 1. High testosterone levels in a man biologically lead to him being more attractive to a woman. Premise 2. Fitness of a man can be associated with high testosterone levels. Conclusion: fitness of a man can biologically lead to him being more attractive to a woman. Premise 2, I can buy. Conclusion doesn't involve formal fallacies and roughly corresponds to reality. But on what grounds do we presume that a woman's goal is to find a man with more testosterone? Why does she need it and how does she measure it? I'm afraid you're working your way backwards from the hypothesis of this attraction being biological or mostly biological. The thing is, that's not an example of biological attraction. It's just a bad sciencey justification for an unfounded presupposition. Using the same method, we can come up with an infinite number of examples in favor of any assertion. Behold, evolutionarily, women prefer fat men because them being fat means that they're well situated in terms of food and living conditions, either through their hunting skills or through their social status. Therefore, they are able to support a family. Furthermore, women prefer fat men because their lack in testosterone means that they won't exhibit aggression towards them or their children. Finally, women prefer fat men because they die earlier, and neither the wife nor their children have to waste resources by supporting them in their elderly years. And here are some additional questions for you. What is your biological explanation of modern men being typically more attracted to shaved legs and armpits? What has happened to our biology since the 80s? And if we look at other cultures, what biological purpose do these things serve?
Stronger men are more attractive. How many women do you know that think that the Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters is hot?
Even I wouldn't mind to cuddle with him for a while. Well, I know at least a couple of women who find bigger men attractive. I'm sure I'd know more if our society hadn't dismissed their preference by deeming it a kinky fetish, and not in a good kinky fetish kind of way. And since when being fat means being weak? Even in my fattest, I still could carry my wife in my arms with my kid on my shoulders.
Men who have penises that hide around like a turtle in its shell do not have as much self-confidence. That comes with being overweight.
Why do they, in your opinion, have problems with self-confidence, if not because of societal mindset? Do you really think that double shaming them will help? Don't you think that dismantling cultural constructs around sex and looks, including fetishization of penis sizes, would be a better solution for such a problem? While we're on it, what is the biological purpose of a big fat penis? How does it serve evolution?
Women like men who are more confident. It's hard to be confident when you've got man boobs.
It seems to me that you have completely forgotten that you were trying to give examples of biological attraction. Now you're just talking about aesthetics, while clumsily generalizing demographics and their preferences.
Likewise, men are attracted to women who are fit. Men like women typically who have a proper waist-to-hip ratio.
Proper. Sorry, couldn't find it in documents of International Bureau of Weights and Measures. Do they secretly keep an etalon in the basement of Institute of Standards and Technology? Or is it, once again, just an intuitive cultural norm that varies from culture to culture and from time period to time period?
It means that they're more ready for childbearing. Overweight women have problems when it comes to being pregnant, more than thin women.
Okay, we're back to biology. I'll turn a blind eye to a possible implication that for a man, a woman is just a machine for reproduction. This will only lead to a boring fight with biological reductionists of anti-feminist variety. But let's make one thing clear. Even if something is biological, there are no reasons for it to serve as a moral or even purely aesthetical guidance for a society. However, don't fool yourself. What you did here have much more in common with religious apologetics than with biology or science. You've made up a bunch of unproven, but seemingly semi-realistic claims, or cherry-picked some facts to confirm a predetermined statement. Using this methodology, you can also prove that Earth is flat and that Christians came from spiders.
I know that people have eating disorders and really like food. That is something that we need to overcome.
Why? If someone is content with their choice of eating more instead of living a more healthy life, then who are we to tell them that they are wrong? If someone sees other problems and tasks as having higher priority, then who are we to tell them to overcome something? If you say, I have an eating disorder and really like food, but I need to overcome it, I have no problem with it. If you say, some people really want to be more healthy, but they have eating disorders and really like food, so we need to help them overcome it, I'm all for it. More than that, I will support them and help them as much as I can. But if you say, everyone should overcome it and have my goals as their own goals, then sorry, but that's just an arrogant belief that your priorities are the objectively right ones.
We can help each other, but not encourage us to continue in this perpetual disease called obesity that is killing us.
We are not talking about encouraging people to make a physically unhealthy choice. We are talking about helping them make an informed choice and then accepting it, even if it seems unhealthy to us. What you are doing in this video is not encouraging, it's shaming people and fabricating quasi-scientific justifications for your views and for stupid social norms. We must not force people to lead a lifestyle that we ourselves consider good for us. We must encourage them to make a decision and then support them in its implementation. If you choose to be healthy and to fight your weight, then great, more power to you. I've made the choice to live a long life of struggle with food addiction and stress eating as well. But we don't have any rights to bully those who decided to live shorter but more delicious life, or shorter but otherwise more productive life. Your weight is important to you, and we must support you in your efforts to achieve your goal. But other people have other goals. Saying them, what goals? You're fat, go get thinner, is not a good thing to do.
You can love the people. Listen, I had a 500-pound friend of mine that died right in front of me at the age of 36. I think his weight had something to do with it. This is something that I really do take to heart.
I'm really sorry to hear it. It's a very good personal reason to raise awareness for risks of obesity, so that everyone's decision about their lifestyle is as informed as it can be. But that's a very bad reason for shaming people. And there are just no good reasons for making up facts and calling them biology or any other science.
Being an overweight person, I go to the gym twice a day now. I'm trying to get tone and lose weight. I'm trying to take care of my life now because for so many years I neglected it.
Good for you, Wayne. I count my calories and force myself to stop eating long before I feel full. And there's a big chance that we'll have to do these things till the end of our lives.
Look, and I can say this, I don't need people telling me that I need to accept it.
You don't need to accept it. We need to accept it if you choose to stop giving a damn about your weight. Likewise, we need to accept the fact that you chose to give a damn and to make an effort.
I need to accept health. And when I achieve health, then I'll have a more fulfilled life.
By your own standards of fulfillment. Some people feel fulfilled when they can devour a ton of meat with mayo.
You cannot tell me, fat person, that you have a more fulfilled life than the thinner counterpart that is within you would have.
It's not as clear-cut as it may seem. If the thinner counterpart have to pay the price of constant struggling till the end of their life and not ever being able to relax, sorry, but it's about priorities. For a lot of people, being thin is not about just becoming thin. It's about becoming thin and then constantly fighting factors that can potentially lead to them becoming fat again. For me, it takes one pizza to relapse into an eating spree and gain 7 to 10 kilograms in 4 days. There are many pros for a fat person to try and become thin, but there are some cons as well. And the person should be informed about the cons as much as about the pros, and then just prioritize.
I'm a stress eater. Well, you know how I took that news when I found out I had diabetes? I went and ate more shit.
Now the tone and half of the message of your video completely stopped making sense. You are saying, I know what stress eating is, but you know what, fat people? Biology is plotting against you. You are scientifically unwanted. You are unacceptable. Screw your choices, screw your problems. Being thin is the highest priority of all. Just not cool. Studies have shown that encouraging people to be fit increases stress within the society, which leads to overeating, thus making the situation even worse.
We gotta pull ourselves together, not encourage people to go down this road that is leading to death at an earlier age.
Yes, and we gotta accept it, if they decide that something is more important or dear to them than health or looks.
But encourage people to take control of their lives.
Sorry, but what you are doing here is not that. You are demanding from people to make the same choices that you have made. You are shaming them for making other choices. You are not encouraging control over their life. You are demanding to be like you. That's not very honest or constructive. Our choices don't have to be objectively right ones, to be respectable or to be right for us. Try respecting your own choices without quasi-biological apologetics. You've made a good choice. You are reaching for your happiness and fulfillment as you see them. Please let others do the same, even if they see them differently. Accept the lifestyle of their choice. And keep up the good work.